who is in charge? Because I've been saying it for a while.
Yes, you have.
This is the guy that she's saying doesn't know anything about the military. Does he look like he doesn't know anything?
The collapse of The View had been brewing for years, but no one could have predicted the legal firestorm that would ultimately lead to its abrupt cancellation. After decades of controversial remarks, unfiltered opinions, and heated debates, the show finally crumbled under the weight of over 30 defamation lawsuits. The overwhelming legal challenges became too much for ABC to manage, forcing the network to pull the plug on one of daytime television's most iconic talk shows. For years, Whoopi Goldberg and her fellow co-hosts wielded their platform like a weapon, openly criticizing politicians, business moguls, and fellow celebrities. They became known for pushing inflammatory narratives, often with little to no evidence to support their claims. But as it turns out, making reckless accusations on live television comes with consequences, and those consequences have now arrived in the most dramatic way possible. The legal turmoil began when multiple public figures decided they had enough of The View's unchecked claims. One of the most high-profile lawsuits came from none other than Elon Musk. The billionaire took legal action after Goldberg and her co-hosts repeatedly attacked his character and leadership.
Hey, everybody used to like Trump. Like the show. You ever seen like videos of Trump on The View with Barbara Walters?
So you can't just say they all have it. Some people have all the things you said.
Musk, who has never been one to shy away from confrontation, alleged that The View deliberately spread falsehoods about him, questioning his competence as a business leader and suggesting he was unfit to run Tesla and SpaceX. Musk's lawsuit detailed how the show's defamatory claims had damaged his reputation and caused real financial harm, making it clear he was determined to hold them accountable. But Musk wasn't the only one prepared to fight back. In an unexpected twist, the Trump family also entered the fray, launching a lawsuit against the show after years of relentless attacks. Donald Trump, never one to ignore a slight, had long been the subject of The View's most outrageous accusations. The hosts accused him of everything from election fraud to colluding with foreign governments, often presenting their claims as indisputable facts rather than opinions. After years of letting the attacks slide, Trump and his family finally decided to take legal action, arguing that The View had engaged in a calculated smear campaign designed to damage his reputation and political aspirations.
A lot of leaders will have some affliction at different times because of the pressure and demands of the office go through.
You wouldn't look at President Obama and say he has narcissistic disorders.
Given Trump's history of fighting back twice as hard, Goldberg and her team should have known better than to take him on. Adding to the legal onslaught, country music superstar Carrie Underwood also took action against the show after becoming a target of its baseless allegations. Whoopi Goldberg suggested that Underwood was involved in behind-the-scenes corruption in the entertainment industry, alleging she had used her influence to manipulate award shows and career opportunities. Underwood, who has kept her personal life away from controversy, was not about to let such claims tarnish her reputation. Her lawsuit accused The View of defamation, asserting that Goldberg's comments had caused undue harm to her brand and integrity. Rather than ignoring the false remarks, Underwood chose to fight back with the same tenacity that has fueled her music career. Then came the final blow, Joe Rogan. If there is one person in the media landscape you don't want to provoke, it's Rogan. Goldberg made the mistake of publicly ridiculing him, calling him dangerous and irresponsible for the content of his podcast. But Rogan, known for his sharp wit and unapologetic stance, was not about to let it slide.
Of doing stuff that I never did in my life, and they wrote lies.
And for years, lecturing America about.
He responded by filing his own lawsuit, accusing The View of making false claims that damaged his career and credibility. His legal team argued that Goldberg had knowingly spread falsehoods with the intent of harming his public image, making it clear that the days of unchecked media attacks were coming to an end. With Rogan's massive following and financial resources, the battle escalated into a high-stakes media war. Unlike others who might have settled out of court, Rogan was determined to see the case through, using every legal avenue to expose The View's reckless behavior. His case underscored the hypocrisy of Goldberg's moral grandstanding, highlighting her own history of spreading misinformation while attempting to discredit others. As the lawsuits mounted, The View found itself hemorrhaging money. Advertisers began pulling their support, unwilling to be associated with a show that had become a legal and financial liability. With millions in legal fees accumulating and no resolution in sight, ABC executives were left with no choice but to cancel the show. Once a ratings powerhouse, The View had now become a financial disaster, and the network simply couldn't afford to keep it on the air. The fallout from The View's cancellation has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. The show, which had been a staple of daytime television for decades, long operated under the assumption that it was untouchable. Its hosts were given free rein to make bold claims, often with little regard for factual accuracy. But in the end, their recklessness was their undoing. The lawsuits forced ABC to acknowledge that the show's format, where unverified allegations were passed off as truth, was unsustainable. Speculation now swirls around the fate of Whoopi Goldberg and her fellow co-hosts. Goldberg, who has been at the center of many of the show's most controversial moments, now finds herself facing legal challenges that could follow her for years to come. While she has remained silent in the wake of the cancellation, sources suggest she is scrambling to mount a legal defense. Other co-hosts, including Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin, are also rumored to be weighing their next moves, as they too may be held accountable for their roles in the show's downfall. For longtime critics of The View, the show's cancellation is seen as a victory for media accountability. For years, it functioned as a platform for unchecked bias and misinformation.
I want to also thank my beautiful wife, Melania, First Lady.
Great to see you.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
I guess the first thing is congratulations.
Frequently targeting conservative figures without consequence. But now, with the legal system finally stepping in, the message is clear. There are limits to what can be said under the guise of free speech. While some media voices have rushed to defend The View, arguing that the lawsuits set a dangerous precedent for television commentary, others see it as a long overdue reckoning. In an era where public figures are increasingly willing to take legal action against defamation, the media landscape is shifting. No longer can networks assume they can spread falsehoods without facing consequences. The question now is what comes next. Will other talk shows learn from The View's downfall and be more cautious in their commentary? Will this legal precedent lead to more high-profile defamation cases in the future? And most importantly, will Whoopi Goldberg and her co-hosts ever recover from the reputational damage they have suffered? One thing is certain. The View's dominance in daytime television is officially over.
I love our country. How do you love your country and support and normalize somebody who was a convicted felon who really wants to destroy?
The lawsuits, financial losses, and advertiser exodus have ensured that the show will not be making a comeback. What started as a platform for lively debate ultimately became a battleground for reckless accusations and legal battles. In the end, the very thing that made The View famous, its willingness to push boundaries, was also what led to its downfall. With the show now off the air, ABC is left to pick up the pieces. Executives are scrambling to fill the void left by The View's absence, but whether any new show can replicate its success without falling into the same traps remains to be seen. Meanwhile, those who took legal action, from Elon Musk to Donald Trump to Joe Rogan, have sent a clear message. Defamation will no longer be tolerated, even from the most high-profile media outlets. The View's cancellation marks the end of an era, but it also serves as a warning. The days of unchecked media attacks are over, and the new era of accountability has begun.